Alright, today on the workbench we've got a new project. This is a Proto 2000. It's a USRA 060, and we are going to be putting DCC in this. So I'm not sure yet what I'm going to put in it. Well, the decoder I'm going to put in it is a TCS WOW Steam decoder. The speaker I'm unsure of as of right now. Until I get in there and get this apart, I'm not sure what I'll be using for that. So we might as well get into this thing. And it does run really well on DC. So let's go ahead and start. It looks like we've got 4 screws here on the bottom of the tender, 1 on each corner. So we're going to go ahead and pull those out. I can get them all the way out. This model has a lot of nice detail to it. Some of it seems fairly fragile. That's like this tender right here. It's got the chains on the trucks. Right in here you can see. So I'm hoping that that pulls off just like that. I think I've still got 1 screw that's holding me up. And now I think I've got a wire. Okay. So there we've got our tender apart. I'm not going to change out the bulbs in this. I'll just put resistors on the board. Now the easy way to do this would be to just pull this 8-pin plug out, just like so. And that would be it. But I am not going to do that. Take the whole board out and put a decoder buddy in it. Now what I'm cutting off here, this is for this rear wire, or for this rear light. So there's our blues are common, and then we've got that wire for our function, the yellow. And I'm going to leave all this hooked together just so I'll know what is what here when I go to start pulling this apart. Pull this board out. I have to measure this. I may be able to get a 28mm speaker in right here and do like I normally do, drill into the coal load. Maybe I can drill some holes in the front there. So let's see. Let me get. Going to go get a decoder buddy, a couple of them, and see what I can put in this. I'll be back. Okay, I've got a Decoder Buddy Mini here, and what I want to do, let me put this old light board back on, and we'll plug the old adapter board back in. I want to measure this, see what we have for distance or height. I've got about 13 millimeters to the top of that plug. So if I take this Decoder Buddy and stick it back here, it won't sit in this orientation. This will be the way it, well, actually this will be the way it sits in here like that. So let me pull this off, but I want to keep my height down. So if I set that there, then I can measure this, and we'll see what we've got. I've got 13 millimeters to the top of the pins, and I know that these pins are long, so I can shave those off a little bit, cut them off a little bit. I'll end up pulling this bracket off. Be really nice. Yeah. Yeah. So I want to put my speaker up here above this. So I am going to cut this off. I won't have to, because I can set that off to the side. Set the Decoder Buddy there. I won't have to modify this or this. Yeah, I think that'll do what I want it to do. And then I'll add 2 resistors for my rear light. One resistor for my rear light and 1 resistor for the front light. So that, I believe that'll work. Then I can put my Keep Alive right in here, or I could put it up here. Doesn't really matter where I put that. Alright, we might as well get started here. First thing I'll do, I'm going to take and add my resistors to this. These are 12-volt bulbs. So I'm going to take and put a 470 ohm resistor here on this. So let's turn my soldering iron on, find my resistors. I know I have some. Or wait a minute, I just wrong package. 750. 1,000. 2,000. Okay, I finally found, well, I didn't find a 470, I've got a 510, which that will be, that'll be fine. So I'm just kind of pulling that out of the pack right now. Get that flipped over. Set them here in that little gray square so I can see them better. Now, let's see. I'm going to set this up on this block. And then a little solder there. I'll get that on there. Let me zoom in here a little bit. So we're working right up here. It'd be nice if I could film this and use my magnifier at the same time. Let me clean that off. So now what I want to try to do is pull my lens over to where you can still see and I can see a little better. Okay. Well, I can't work. Okay, let me try this. I'm going to hold that with my tweezers. Okay. And that's all it takes. So we're straight there. Pull that up out of the way. My magnifier. And I'll clean that one off. Then I'll go around and tin all the other joints. So that's that one. And I've any of these as I work with, you would think that I would remember which one the forward light would be. I believe it's this one up here, and I do it by elimination. Let's see, help if I put my meter to where I could hear it. I'm pretty sure this outside one right here is the front headlight. Yep, this is the front headlight. And how I did that, these Decoder Buddy Minis have, you can put 4 resistors on them for these 4 functions. So this is A2 that I've got my lead on right here, and I'm touching that middle pad. This is a positive. So here's my other function, A1. So just out of process of elimination, I know that this one is the forward headlight. So now a little more flux. Put that on there, and I've got my those things are so tiny. There it is. Clean my tweezers off. So there's our other resistor. Well, if I can grab a hold of it. Set that there. So that's that side of it. And there's that side. All right. So now, what are we going to use? We're going to use our speaker. I'm going to go ahead and tin all this speaker. Track pickup, rear light, track pickup, motor, and then I'm going to use Keep Alive over here since this is a very short wheelbase. So we'll go ahead and get those. Okay, so that's that side of it. I'll go ahead and tin the other side. And these are just track pickups and lights, or front light. Okay, there's all of our connections that we will need. Now I can go ahead and clean this. And see, this is the great thing about, one of the great things about the Decoder Buddy, let's say that, is like these resistors for the lights. You can tailor those to your specific application. So I know these are incandescent bulbs, and I can put that lower value resistor in there, and my light will still work. So if I have an LED, I can put a higher value resistor in, and to make it work. So there are advantages. Cap back on, so don't knock that over. Get that out of the way. All right, so we are now prepared to start putting things into place here. Excuse me. And I want to turn this around because the pin side is the forward side. So we'll keep this over toward the center. That way I don't have to remove this lug, but I can still set it there. Get out some double-sided tape here, and we'll tape this Decoder Buddy down. Let me clean the back of this off. Get another. I shouldn't have put the cap back on the alcohol. That cleaned off. Then I'm going to clean off where I want to put my tape. Put the cap back on there now. All right. So there's my double-sided tape on the board. that. There we go. Okay. Now we're ready to start our wiring. And I'll start back here in the back, just because that way I can get these out of the way. Turn that off. That off. Okay. There's those two. Little flux. Now we're ready to tin these. Twist it around a little bit better. Trim that off. So I don't need all of that. So there is our rear light. Get that all tucked in nice. Okay, get that out of the way. Now we can start our wiring on our track picking. I can unplug this board here. Down out of the way. That black is is a track pickup. That red is a track pickup. So I've got 2 reds and 2 blacks here. Off of this board. So I'm going to pull the reds off. And that is just long enough to go back. So we'll get the red ones taken care of here. We'll run this all the way back to the back. And that'll tie in. Right there. So I can go ahead and cut my black, or red I mean. Trim this one up a little bit, or strip it off a little bit. Put some flux there. Flux there. And I'm just tinning these 2 wires. Now I can trim this off. Trim this one off. Yeah. So there's that one. Then I can get this over here. There's that side. We'll run this underneath. That. Now we can move on to our other side. Pull it off. flux on those. Now we're ready to tin. So there's that track pickup. Everything all tucked back in here. Okay, so now we've got all of our track pickups on. Now all we've got left is our front light and our motor. And I'm going to have to lengthen the motor because the motor goes back here and that's all the wire I have. So I'll lengthen that one and I'll have to lengthen the gray one. If I can get a hold of it. Okay, well, I've got it in my hand. Got a piece of heat shrink. We'll get out some orange. Give me a piece of orange. There's that. Clean that tip off. Keep hitting my head on my light. So now I can Solder this together. Put our heat shrink tubing on it. Okay, it's over here. So M1 is our, not really worried about positive and negative, but and that's why they're not labeled positive and negative on the board either. But I'm putting this one on motor 1. There's that. Makes it nice. I can tuck everything. Well, I don't want to tuck it in under that frame because I won't be able to get it up through there without the side hitting it. So we'll get that there. Now I need a piece of gray all the way at the bottom of the pile. So there's that. I've got my heat shrink ready. Now I just got to put some flux on this one and tin it. There's that. Get that out of the way. I'll get this one hooked together to lengthen this one. Okay. So there's that one. Now I can run it down here, cut it to length. All right. Sneak that up under the board itself. All right, that's that. And now I may have to extend the wires for my front light. I was hoping I wouldn't have to. Oh, good, we'll be fine. At least the common one's fine. We'll get this tinned up, trimmed off. Put into place. There's that one. And I can do the same here. Rinse, lather, repeat. Okay, so there is our wiring. Other than the Keep Alive and the speaker. The wiring harness on these Protos is the also the drawbar. So just looking to make sure I had good movement there, which I did. So now I can find. Let me set this back on here just to see how well everything goes back together. This thing, like I say, it is rather delicate. Okay, so I know we're down all the way. Okay. Yep. So we're good. Now if I can get it back off. Okay. All good. So before I go any farther, I'm going to get the decoder, put the decoder on it, put it together, and test it. I'll be back. Okay. I have put this on the track with the decoder on it, and I shouldn't have went with the 500 ohm resistor because I blew my light, the rear light. So I never tried to hook the locomotive up so the front light's still good. But I am going to have to change this bulb out, and I'm going to change this to a 1000 watt or 1000 ohm resistor. So I'll take this off and then we'll come back, but I'm not going to do that one on camera. I just wanted to let you know that the 500 too low. Alright, we're back, and so the tender is in good shape. I'll bring it back over here. Now, you'll notice, of course, I did blow that bulb, but it wasn't the fuse, or it wasn't the resistor. What I had done was when I wired the track pickups in, the positive wire from the track pickup was touching the light pad, so it instantly blew that bulb. So I went ahead and I put an LED in right there, and I did that off camera. And so I ended up, I had to take out the, I changed the resistor, changed it to a 1000 ohm resistor. Well, then I plugged it back in, and I didn't know it, but the bulb in the locomotive is also bad. So now I never had this hooked up, so it wasn't the fault of the resistor or anything. It was just the bulb was bad. So now I'm going to put in an LED for the front headlight. And I mean, it's a simple process. I have the instructions for it. But all you got to do is pull the front of the smoke box off. And the headlight just kind of sits in there. So you can pull it right out. And you can see the bulb right in there. But let's go ahead. I want to get my fingernail, pry it, put it in there. And that's all you got to do is just pull that straight out. It's hard to get a hold of. So I'm going to get my PC board pullers here. There we go. Get that off. And you can see that bulb right in the front. And it looks like it's just in there, just sitting in there. So let me see if... I think it just plugs right in. Yep. That's all it does. Plug right in. So I can get a new bulb and plug it right in. Let me see what I've got here beside of me. This bulb, I think, may work. Let me test it. See if it works. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. And I'll cut that one off. My long one is going to be my positive for those. So what did I just do? I want to see if I can replicate the length of this bulb. Okay, that will plug into that. So actually what I want to do, I'm not sure what's positive and negative on that thing. So we're just going to try it. So let me replicate the length anyway of that. So the one I cut off for the negative is the right length. So we'll go ahead, that's our positive. And this will be our negative. Of course, right now, like I say, I don't know which one is which in that. And I'm really glad that I didn't have to pull this locomotive completely apart. Okay. So there I've got the bulb put in it. That's easy. Now I'm going to try it out before I go any farther, so I'll be back. Okay. So I ended up, I had to switch the bulb around, which that figures I had a 50-50 shot at getting it right, and of course I didn't. So, but it just sits in there just like that, and then we can put our smoke box back on. There's a lot of parts on this, and I'm trying to be gentle. So there's that, and then, like I say, the light, the headlight assembly, just, well, if I can grab a hold of it and keep a hold of it, sits on there. So there. So that's all we have to do to the locomotive. It is in good shape. Actually, I need to adjust this wiring harness. Looks like it's coming apart a little bit. Okay, I'll do that a little bit later. So we've got everything in the locomotive done. Light changed out. Wasn't going to change them to LEDs, but we ended up changing them to LEDs. I am going to take and put another piece of heat shrink over top of this light. Or actually, not heat shrink, because I want to center that right in that light housing. I'm going to take some micro crystal clear and put in there. That way it'll hold that light in the center. And I won't have to worry about it shorting out. So let me do that right now. And then all we'll have left to do is put the speaker in it and the keep alive. But for now. So we won't have to worry about this light moving either. That will keep it in line. Won't have to worry about that. Yeah, like I say, all I've got left is the speaker and the Keep Alive. So, I mean, everything fits good. There's the shell back on, if I needed it back on, but at this moment in time, we're done there. So, the Keep Alive, I'm going to use a KA4 for that. No. Go ahead and get it out of the package while I'm sitting here. I like these TCS Keep Alives. They give you a lot of options. So actually that's too big to fit there. I'll probably end up mounting it up around in here. Ooh, move my pull this decoder off. I think I have some KA1s. I've got a KA1 I could probably set in there. So if I put that there, yeah, that's going to be too much. I'm going to have to go with the KA1. Alright, I'm going to take a break and then I'll be back. Okay, we're back. We're ready to put our Keep Alive in. But as you saw there, the TCS, the KA4, it's too tall. So I'm going to skip that one. I've got a KA1, and it should fit nicely right in here, right beside of the board, right beside the decoder buddy. And I can turn it around, and this is where our leads go for it. So actually, I would have, I believe, yeah. I'm going to mount it right back here, and that'll give me plenty of space for my leads. Yeah, that will work. So what we'll need to do is clean this off. So that our tape will stick. Then we can clean off the bottom of the decoder. so that our tape will stick to it. And then I'll get a piece of I've got several different sizes of double-sided tape. Put that on there. Cut that off. So after we get this on, then we can move on to our speaker. Take my pliers and push down on that. Okay. Now just getting a little measurement on my wire there. That'll give us plenty. Turn my soldering iron back on. Alright, go ahead and tin. So there's that. Now we'll go ahead and attach these to our board. That one underneath. And I need to trim that off a little bit. And I'll remove that little piece of metal before we go any farther. All right. So there's that one. Trim this one off a little bit. So there's our Keep Alive. So we're all good on it. Now we are down to just the speakers. And I measured this. What was it? I can't put my normal 28mm speaker. It's like 23. So I think I'm just going to go with a sugar cube, and I'll put as many baffles, or make my enclosure for it as big as I can, and then I'll just stick it right here in the center. So let me dig out a speaker and an enclosure, and I will be back. Okay, we're back. Of course, we've got the Keep Alive one, and we're looking for a speaker, and I found this. This is a TCS speaker with its enclosure. It's a 16 by 35, and it fits perfectly. You can sit that right down on top of that, and I mean it's works great. So we're going to mount this thing in there, and what I want to do, I can use one of the screws to mount it. So I want to pull this speaker up out. Pull that out, and I will have to seal off the holes after I get it the way that I want it. But I believe I can drill right down through this corner and put one of the screws right back in, and I think that'll give us some good sound out of this speaker. So now my little drill, I believe, is about dead. I changed my batteries in that thing. So I'll just use my regular drill. Drill a hole, see how close we are. Okay, I think that'll work. Now if that'll... We'll have to make that hole just a little bigger. So there's that. Now we'll get that mounted. Hopefully I'm not... Might have to ream it out just a little. Yeah, that'll be fine. I am going to ream it out just a little bit because it's sitting in there kind of at an angle. Actually, I wonder if I can just trim some of the case. That didn't work. So back to the drill bit. There we go. That ought to get that. That's better. All right. Now let me make sure that our case fits. All right. We are good to go. Okay, now, excuse me, I'll get out some brown wire for our speaker. This may be a lot of sound for this little thing, but hey. Of course, I still need to drill some holes in the coal load there. We'll go ahead and tin this. And then we'll go ahead and attach the speaker wire. So we'll run that down through the provided holes. lay that over like that for a second. And I'll use my Goop E6000 to seal this. Let me tighten that down just a little bit. Okay. And I will be able to remove this if I need to. First off, we'll seal. Seal those holes up. Seal that one. So that's that. Then I'll go all the way around. And I'm just going to use just a little, because I don't want it to get out onto the cone of the speaker. But I do want it to be securely in there. All right. And then I can seal these two holes up. All right, there's our speaker. So now all we've got to do is wire that one up. And we will be done. Now our speakers are over here. And strip those, and now we can there's that. That's one. And that's two. So there is our finished tender. Well, other than the putting the holes in. So I'm going to put some in the front there, and then I'll drill a series of them up there. And I use a small bit. It's like a number 70, I believe. Let me measure this. I'll get my chart out. It's 0.93 millimeters. Let me find my number drills. Drill size 0.093 is what I'm looking for. Got this little Starrett chart. It's a number 42. It's a number 42 bit right there. I think I'm going to go with something a little smaller. Because I think that one would show up too much. It's like my step is coming off. All right. Let's see. I'll go with a number 71 bit. That will be plenty small enough. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and drill these in here, and then I'll be back. Okay, I have drilled a series of 70 holes in this thing. And I mean, you can see, if I turn this the right way, you can catch a glimpse of some of them. I even drilled some on the front there. But right now, this thing is ready to be put back together. This one little railing has been driving me crazy the whole time we've been working on this. So there's that. And now we are ready to slide that back on. And goes down on there nice. So let's put the screws back in it. And remember, it's just got the 4 screws, one at each corner. Yeah, you can't see those holes looking straight down on it. Okay, 2 more. I bought this off of eBay. This is mine. I got it off of eBay. Guy said it was brand new. Never run. Well, he was wrong. because the coupler was broke off of it. Wasn't in the box. There weren't any inserts in the box. I forget what all was off of it when it came, but there was several parts that weren't on it. I need to tighten up this where my pins are. This was another thing that was kind of broke on this, or broken. So now we'll put this thing together, and we're ready to test it. So after I get it set up on the track here, oh, I have done it again. There's the decoder. How many of you were sitting there during that video thinking, put the decoder in it, dummy? Yep. And that went together so nice, too. I seem to do that every time I do a locomotive here. Anyway, at least it's just 4 screws, and I didn't have to struggle to put the whole thing together. So, there's our whole assembly. Alright, now I'll put it back together and I'll be back. Alright, we've got this little project completed. So I've got it down here on the test stands. Of course, you saw me put it back together there and saw that I forgot to put the decoder in it. So I went through that and I did that. I put new KD couplers on it, number 5s. So let's go through some of this. Now I haven't changed any of the, haven't changed any CVs, none of the settings I've changed. So the chuff rate is off. It's probably not the right whistle, probably not the right bell, but it's all there, it all works, and it sounds good. So let me plug this in. So we've got it all plugged in there. I'm going to turn on the front headlight. You can hear the dynamo come on. Now, I don't know if you can see that or not, but that number board on the headlight actually did light up. Let me turn the light back off. And back on. All right, now here's the horn, or whistle, I mean. Our bell, short horn. But let's get this thing started. So we've got that fired up.
We'll go ahead and kind of spin it around here a little bit. Now you can see that front light. I mean, it runs good. It sounds good. So let me turn that light off. That way you can see that go on and off. Hear that dynamo again. Turn it around here. So let's hit the brake here. I really like that braking feature. And we'll give our short horn for our stop. But, well, we'll put it in reverse. And we'll spin it around. That way you can see the rear light. And it is on right there. And we'll flip that off. Flip it back on, and we'll just kind of head in reverse. All right, let's apply some brake. Turn our headlight off. We'll come back around here to center. So we're going to call this little project complete. And thanks for watching.